we are talking about quite and very. First of all, let's talk about temperature because we are talking about, we are using examples for cold. So let's talk about temperature. Let's say, for example, that this is a scale for temperature and this is 45 degrees and this is minus 30 degrees. Negative. Okay. So let's establish something here. This is very hot and this is very cold. I think we can also say that here it would be hot and here it would be just cold. And between them, I can say that this is quite, which would be like here, between. Quite hot or quite cold. So quite hot would be like between hot and very hot, and quite cold would be between cold and very cold. So I can say, for example, that today it's very cold, and I would mean like this, or it's only an example, okay? It doesn't have to be this temperature. It depends on your opinion. Or today's quite cold. So quite is a little less than very. Or I can say only it's cold. I am, same thing here. I can say I am very sure. Or a little less, I can say I am quite sure. I don't have to use adjectives because these are adjectives. I can use it with a noun. So if I say it was quite a surprise, it's like a big surprise. Or if I say this is between a noun, or I can also use between, I'm saying between, but I mean before. I can also use before a verb. I quite like tennis, which means I like tennis a lot. Very much, more or less like this. Other uses would be, it's rather cold. You see, it's a negative word, so I don't like it. So I also can say it's rather cold, which means it's not hot. That's the impression, but I think it's cold. Or I can say it's a rather long way to walk, which is like it's a very long way to walk. So it gives me the idea of intensity. Intensity for cold and intensity for a long way to walk. These orange are rather nice. And this implies, let me just write here. This is intensity. And this implies surprise. These oranges are rather nice. So if I use rather with positive words, so this is a positive word, nice, cool, beautiful, elegant, interesting, anything that it's positive, and I use rather between the word, it means I'm surprised. So these oranges are rather nice. It means, for example, I bought the oranges and I paid a very cheap price. And I am surprised because these oranges are rather nice. And didn't like the book, but I thought it was rather interesting. One more time, the word interesting is a positive word. So if I use rather interesting, this also implies that I am surprised. Because Anne didn't like the book, but I thought it was rather interesting. I am surprised that the book is interesting.